the situation is that the cafes. Asterisk can always tell the truth. Find my words. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good one. Yes, so the cafe, neutral grounds that you all like to frequent. The cafe's proprietress and and I do love this so much, resident caffeine-amancer, Diane Bassett, has been killed. She's we'll have the sort of initial you guys sort of walking into this opening in a moment, but that's how this is going to start. She walks in and you realize that she's been killed, and you guys are the first ones on the scene about it, really.
So let's go to the bar and place the body.
Yes, to a degree, but before we get to that, we have to sort of establish how close are you guys to Diane? I mean, she's the one that's always in the cafe, so you'll see her as much as you guys frequent the place. How close are you guys with her? Or any of you sort of very close best friends?
Probably not me, because I'm at this age I'm bitter, cynical, and probably I'm not friends with anybody. I probably only appreciated her because I don't know what her character was, but I'm guessing she wasn't prying when I just went to the bar, sat down, just sip my scotch or whiskey or something when I was feeling particularly down. Maybe she offered some words, but probably that was it.
Yeah, that seems good. It's kind of been at this long enough to know when somebody needs space, and we'll just, serve that person, professionally, not trying to pry into what they're thinking.
I think Danny and her would have been good friends.
Yeah.
She seems like the kind of person that would be the stereotypical barman, bar woman. She's very good at being a psychologist, basically. So, for some reason, Dania felt that she could be honest with her, which was unusual, and they became friends.
I'm gonna say that Astra was friendly with her, but got the sense that she was bothering her too much at work and annoying her. So I was like, oh, I'd better lay off a bit. And then this happened.
Right. Okay. What? Crap. Sorry. Also, my apologies for this. I got two of the scenes muddled up in my head. I apologize. Diane, when you arrive, isn't going to be dead immediately. Sorry, I was getting that messed up in my head. You'll arrive on the scene to see two of her employees dead and her missing.
So her employees are missing, and she is missing, and her employees are dead.
Yeah. Two of her employees are dead as you arrive to the cafe, and Diane's missing from the shop. That'll be the opening scene that we get to in a minute. Sorry about that. I was getting the two characters confused.
No problem.
We're gonna just expand Diane's a bit, just so you guys know more about her. She's currently in a relationship. Her boy, actually, well, we have all this text space, don't we? Just so you guys don't need to keep remembering the names. I may as well type out the names of important characters, so you guys just know. So we have Diane Bassett, who is the proprietress of Neutral Grounds and the resident caffeine mancer, which I just love so much. She currently has a boyfriend of the name of Frank Williams. She's in a relationship. we
Do
have
we
that there.
know that Frank Williams is aware of the supernatural or not?
Yeah, he's you know, you think that Frank might be what of Diane's boyfriend anyway. You've seen him around the shop quite a bit recently. But I mean, what do you guys think about him? He's been hanging around the shop quite a lot lately. You know, he's maybe he's a good match for Diane, maybe he's not. What do you guys sort of think about him?
Is he nice to her?
You haven't seen much interaction between the two of them. You know, when Diane's at work, generally, like, she's at work, she likes to concentrate, but it doesn't seem like Frank's never like harassed her or never stopped her working to. You know, there's never been any confrontation, for example.
I'm thinking that changelings are like borderly. They have borderly pathological, psychological ways. So Tanya is probably very protective. So like she regards her boyfriend with suspicion.
Oh, okay.
I'm getting kind of a echo. There's two of you, Eki.
Oh, does it happen when I speak, or does somebody else's?
Here, maybe I can mute one of you.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, that worked.
Can you hear me now? Better? Is it better now?
Oh
yeah, that sounds better to me.
You're like connected 2 ways or something.
Yeah, I opened a second window because I thought that was gonna be a good idea, so I could have the character sheet on one and other stuff on the other. But turns out it wasn't. Okay, sorry. I like Martin.
He just does not give a fuck.
It's like Martin's role playing sounds like it's going to be a lot of.
That makes sense. Okay, so yeah. Frank seems like a nice guy, even if Danny, you're a bit suspicious of him. Danny as well. You'd probably know this, being quite close with Diane. That Diane not recently, really. About a year ago, broke up with her ex-boyfriend Eric. There. I mean, they. What do you guys? You don't really see him around anymore. Danny, you might be the only one that actually even knows about him. What has Diane told you?
How much of an ass was he? I think maybe he cheated on her, and that's why they broke up.
Okay.
So we leave the idea of him being an ass or not open.
Okay, that's fair. They broke up because he's a bit of a dick. Didn't treat Diana right, maybe. Yeah, actually, in fact, let's say Eric was recently in the shop, and one of you guys had a sort of a big argument for him. Dania, that might actually be you. He walked in the shop and trying to approach Diane, and you like immediately cut him off.
Yeah, I'm picturing like this big ass guy, like stereotypical quarterback, like huge guy, and this tiny lady in front of him, like trying to poke him in the chest, but really like only reaching his belly because he's too short. It's like, fuck away, you asshole.
Nice, yeah, I like that. I like that mental image. Daddy really trying to get up in his face, but having to like just tilt her head all the way back to shout at him. I really like that image. Yeah. Okay. We've got a bit of yeah. Oh yeah. We've got a bit of a thing then.
Yeah.
We've
the
got quite a lot of
fists then.
Oh, okay. One last aspect of Martin taught Danny as himself defense moves. Oh yeah. That's fine, Danny. If you want have a sort of aspect of that, a bit more training with a.
Well, I owe Martin a big one. Like that's my aspect with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
okay.
aspect for me to her.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Sounds good. Sort of trained by Martin as an aspect or something. I don't know how you want to word it.
I think I owe Martin a big one. Sounds great because especially because he keeps doing shit like that and doing favors to me, so I never pay it off.
Yeah. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Whoops.
So we walk into the cafe and there are 2 dead people there.
Oh, just one more thing that needs to be established before we do that. I apologize. One of the other bit play because there's a fair few players that are going to be involved in this campaign. Diane, Frank, and Eric all being one of them. There's also another one, and I will get his name so you all can see him. And here it is. There it is. Damocles Ravenborn, and of course, with a name like that, he is in fact a vampire. Red Court specifically, and he comes around the coffee shop every once in a while. He, generally keeps to himself. But last week, one of you guys had a run-in with him. Who do you think that would be? And obviously, more importantly, why?
Let's say that was Astra, and he was like interviewing her, sort of, and she got the sense that he's like sizing her up to see if she's vulnerable. So like she is creeped out by this guy.
Oh, okay, very nice.
So he's just asking questions and smiling, but yeah.
Astra's thinking there's more to it. I mean, how did Astra react to that? Did it get violent, or did she just try and end the conversation as quickly as possible?
She at first she kind of went along because she was too curious. She couldn't help herself.
Okay.
But then as it got more personal, she kind of, made excuses and then, made sure to stay in public going home for the next couple of days, that kind of thing.
Okay. I mean, how full was the shop when that happened? Did Martin, did you, or Daria, did you potentially see any of that happen?
Go for it if you guys want. Yeah, let's say Martin kind of noticed.
Yeah. Is it a case of maybe what was Astra's and Martin's relationship? Did you guys had one, wasn't it?
Astra helped me with my semi-magical talents. She helped me to control it better and whatnot.
Okay, right. With Martin, I don't know if Astra, felt unsafe being around or going home. Do you think you're close? Would Astra be close enough to potentially ask for just having someone to walk her home, or potentially walk her to a car each night? Or
I would be okay with that. I would say probably something, like as all vampires, he looks like a sleazy scumbag, like greasy scumbag. So if you need some escort, I will provide it.
That's okay. As a idea as well, the one-off adventure does handily have some pictures of each of the characters. This is Damocles.
Yeah, I was gonna say that looks. Oh my god.
Yeah, he looks about as douchey as his name implies. That is, I'm sure that the people behind this did that entirely on purpose.
He looks like he read Blade comics before he became a vampire.
Oh my god!
Probably.
Yes. Yes, I was trying to picture why that looked just. So there was just something about it. I was like, that seems so familiar and stereotypical to me. Blade, that's exactly right.
Well, isn't this like every Vampire the Masquerade character that you're supposed to make in your teams or something?
It's the character you make, and the one that you look back on, years later and think, oh god, what the fuck was I doing? And then we have Eric as well, who does look again about as douchey as you guys were implying a little while ago. Yeah.
Well-
So yeah, we've got a good general idea of a lot of the guys. So everybody. Oh, did everybody end up with 5 aspects? By the way. Or?
Yep.
I have 5.
I have.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, fantastic. Look at that. We're all involved in each other's stories. Well done, guys. Thank you for making this much easier than if I had to try and force people to do this. Right. Well, we'll start then. We'll just say it's today. It's a Tuesday. It's a lovely Tuesday, and almost, let's say, conveniently, fate has dictated that you guys end up strolling to neutral grounds at conveniently the same time. In fact, maybe from what we were saying earlier, Martin, you're still helping Astra. Maybe Astra still isn't feeling entirely comfortable. You're walking her to neutral grounds, and
I'm
Danny,
cool with that.
yeah,
I will add
maybe
one
you
more
two walking together.
because
please.
he's retired detective or policeman. So detectives with that much experience, they tend to be creatures of habit, not themselves, but they tend to see patterns in the life around them. So I guess the moment he is near neutral grounds and when he steps in, he would probably instinct would tell him, or he would start seeing differences from the pattern, like maybe the door is ajar or something. So he would be maybe slightly on the, because I don't know, as we enter, do we immediately see the bodies?
Yeah, there's if you want to have that sort of idea, it's you and Astra are kind of walking to the neutral grounds. Up ahead, you see Danny here, and she's like a bit closer to the door, but she sort of stops and looks at you guys. Gonna wait for her. As you're walking, you'll be just chatting to Astra, I imagine, about everything. But then certain things just like on an instinctual level. Yeah.
Just for irony's sake, just as we go in, Astra says, "Well, once we get into the coffee shop, we'll be safe."
You certainly can say that. Yeah, as you're talking to Astra, just maybe still about Damocles being a creep and really needing to just go away. Maybe instinctual things that you don't mentally know, but there are things that add up. The situation's just a bit quieter than usual, not hearing the usual noises you would from neutral grounds. There's maybe a bit more of a chill that police intuition that you would generally have from being a police detective is kind of kicking in and saying something's off.
So this will be that cheesy line. So I just something's not right, and my hand goes on put on my holster, because even if I'm retired, I guess because this is a fucking America, of course I have permission to have a gun.
Yeah. You have a gun. It is actually. It should be one of your.
It's one of my skills. So I just slowly push the door open, and I start looking around, and probably when I see the bodies, it's oh shit.
Yeah. And as you'd probably, as you're expecting this, you're walking a bit ahead of Astra, and you grab the door. Astra probably thinking, such a gentleman, he's opening the door for me. And that is, of course, just before Martin opens the door is when Astra says, "Don't worry, when we get into the coffee shop, we'll all be safe." And as Martin pushes open the door, he does see a war zone, really. He sees two dead baristas in the middle of the shop. You one face down, but from the back, because you guys are such regular visitors, you know that that one is Tom, and a woman sort of sprawled over various furniture named Alicia. They're two local college students that usually work with Diane on the morning. You guys, coming in the morning every so often, know them quite, maybe not as well as Diane, but you know of them. They're two nice kids, nice enough, hard workers, and they're both laying dead on the floor, sort of blood around their bodies. The shop is in quite disarray as well. As I said, it was a sort of half sort of coffee shop, half sort of bookstore. The books are flung on the ground. It's very much looks like there might have been struggle here, or the people were thrown around. That, like I say, the furniture tables are flipped, the counter area is in disarray, all the coffee supplies behind the counter have been either thrown off the counter they were standing at, or have been just basically destroyed.
So basically we see a
think-
war zone and a massacre. That's because there's like a lot of blood around.
Yeah, it's sort of drained down. There's a lot of it. A lot of blood has been soaked up by the clothing that the two kids were wearing. But yeah, there's enough to know that these two are probably dead from first view.
Fuck, poor kid.
Oh my goddess.
I think Dania would kind of freak out and enter and kneel next to a body and start looking around for. I have a problem. Dania and Diane are similar. I get confused for Diane.
Yeah,
I'm imagining Martin would be like, "Oh, you're no, don't. That's a crime scene. Don't do that." But Dania is sort of freaking out.
that's
Just for flavor,
That's understandable. I mean, if Dania was very close friends with Diane, you'd probably know these two perhaps more than Astra or Martin would, just because you're probably here quite a bit, chatting and hanging out with Diane, and you'd probably know the people she employs.
Yeah.
I just give Dania one glance, and I more freak out that whoever did this might still be here. Probably is not, but better safe than sorry. So I probably go and check out the rest of the neutral grounds to make sure nobody else is here.
Okay. Okay. So we're having so Astra, are you sort of staying with Dania in the sort of this front open area? Because the neutral grounds obviously does have employee only back rooms as well.
Oh.
Which is obviously where Martin's about to head off to. Dania, I assume you're having a sort of near mental breakdown in the front of the shop.
Astra sort of stupidly asks, "Are they okay?"
How dead are they? Are they torn,
Well,
limbs torn from limbs, or
not limbs torn from limbs. They look actually relatively it doesn't look like they've been mauled or eviscerated. They're just lying there. In fact, from first glance, you can't actually see what's killed them. They are just lying. Well, like I say, Tom face down, Alicia sprawled across some tables and furniture, just sort of blood pooling around their bodies. There's no all limbs are intact. They haven't been eviscerated. Necks are still there. They haven't been strung through with that dumbass sword Damocles has. It's not immediately apparent how they died, but there is a lot of blood around them.
Call the police. Oh wait, no, we can't. Call Diane.
Oh yeah, absolutely. After between Martin's mention of whoever did this, Astra's mention of Diane, like Dania would take out her phone and start calling Diane, see if there's
Right.
any
Okay.
answer.
Yeah. It just goes straight to voicemail. There's a happy message from Diane. Hi, sorry, can't come to the phone right now. I promise I'm not screening your calls. Just leave a message. I'll get back to you soon. Beep.
I'll hang up and say no answer.
Mm.
And call after Martin.
Of course. So, yeah, obviously at this stage, Martin, I imagine you're very much full detective mode. You're going by the bodies very sort of slowly, making sure not to contaminate
Yeah, basically,
the crime
even
scene.
though he's retired, it's like riding the bicycle. You never forget the basics of detective work. So he's making basic autopsy, like trying to figure out the death cause. Because he's connected to supernatural, he's also trying to figure out like what type of creature or something could have made those type of injuries. He's also trying to spot, maybe on their bodies or something, an object that could potentially give him glimpse of like he's touching an object and suddenly he sees a scene that this object was connected to.
Okay, so, sorry, are you wanting to explore this room a bit more before double-checking the entire premises, or are you prioritizing, like, going through the entirety of the shop first?
First priority would be to make sure that we will not be surprised, and apart from us, there's nobody else here.
Right, okay. So, yeah, like I say, behind the counter, in the corner, there's an employees only room. Obviously, the door's closed at the moment, but you see the usual sign there: employees, no entry, employees only.
Yeah, I try to like open it
yeah.
up. Is it like
Yeah.
closed by the key?
Yeah, you sort of slowly make your way over there, and grab the doorknob, and it rattles that it's locked. Dania, you would probably know this the most if you are sort of conscious enough to realize what's happening. That Diane keeps a spare key for the employees only one under the till. Otherwise, usually she has one on her.
You said under the?
Under the till, the cashier. No.
I'll tell Martin, like, under the till.
Actually, Martin, where's what skills am I looking for here? As you're now sort of close enough to the door, give me a awareness test. Sorry, not awareness, alertness.
Okay. Right, now you're this close to the door, you hear something on the other side of it, a sort of a lumbering kind of noise with just sort of a bit of a stomping around behind it, a bit further in. Like you don't hear this directly on the other side of the door. You're imagining that wherever this is, it's coming from about the middle of the room on the other side. You don't know what the room is on the other side, by the way. Obviously, you've never been in there, not being an employee. Okay, so while trying to keep my muzzle flash on, like my gun point on to the door, on one hand I just try to grab the keys, and on another I just like slightly turn to the others, and I just like try to say very quietly, like mouth, somebody's here. Or something's here. Astra, you have like some hooky pooky magic that can like, make bullets pack more punch?
She kind of looks down. She goes, I don't. What is it? Maybe it's help.
While we were around the bodies, can we tell what kind of wound they had? Like, I know I asked this before, but are they like bullet wounds or?
You can try and give me an investigation roll to establish it. It's not. It's not. It's not immediately identifiable.
Yeah.
You can. Well, I suppose. Nah, no. Alertness isn't really. Nah, investigation is going to be.
It's
what you need to-
investigation.
Yeah.
Yep, I don't know shit. I'm too freaked out. There's too much blood.
Yeah, blood's covering up any signs of what maybe could be the cause of death. You just can't see it. Okay, try to. If I. Yeah, I'm gonna ask for stealth roll off you then, Martin, for this one.
Hey, I actually have a skill in that, on average, but still.
Yay.
Still. That could easily be enough.
Give me a moment. I have a particular. I'm just checking over my stunts if I had like higher roll
Actually,
than the previous one.
Yeah, of course.
No.
As he's going to like, if you're okay with this, as he's like starting to get the key in, Dania put
So probably
Okay,
the
never
door
mind then.
was not oiled lately, so when I just like put the key, like make it like jerk it because I'm kinda tensed and there's like a sound and then I just screw it and then just like kick open the door and like
Yeah, that seems fair. You as you know, you're sort of turning it and you click and it's like, yes, okay, now to open it, and then you sort of turn the thing, slowly try to push it forward, and it's just oh fuck's sake. You as you sort of take your that brief second to collect yourself and go, well, fuck the stealth approach, and kick open the door, you hear very quick footsteps from the opposite side of the room and a door being like opened very quickly. But as you burst into the room, you are met with it's a typical in sort of employee area. There's a it's a fairly big bare room. There's the two things that you're immediately thought about eyes are drawn to are the big tough looking thug that's standing directly in front of you, and the guy that's tied to the chair next to him with a bag over his head.
what the fuck?
Yeah, so the
I immediately
big,
like point a gun to him. Freeze right there!
you being quite into the supernatural, you've been at this for a while with your I don't need you to roll for this. You know that this guy has had some serious supernatural stuff. Some serious supernatural stuff has fucked this guy up. It's very sort of big guy, glazed over eyes. He's not pretty. And he you shout at him and it's just it doesn't register. We are probably going to need to go into initiative at this point, aren't we?
Do you roll for initiative?
Yes, I would say so, unless obviously Martin has told Astra and Dani about there's somebody in there and he was going to do something. So unless there's something else you guys
I mean,
I
mouthed
really
it
wanted
them,
to do,
but, like,
unless there was something else you guys really wanted to do before he burst in.
I was about to tell him that I could go in first because I could be stealthy, but he then just opened the door.
Yeah.
But so I'm imagining Dania behind Martin, and as you describe someone that starts running, I think she would take off after the start sprinting, trying to catch up to whoever that was.
Okay,
This is during the day, by the way, or is it night?
It's in the morning. So this is it's very soon after opening. So this is probably about 9:30 a.m.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, we'll have.
so
Initiative
because of
rolls
my
then.
Stunt, I guess I rolled +6.
Alertness, yeah?
On your toes, yeah. Gain +2 to alertness when determining initiative. So it's +6 for your initiative, Martin.
And I'm thinking this might be a bit soon, but the whole idea of Diane being in danger is going to push Dania to use some of her potential powers. So she's going to take inhuman speed.
Oh, you're already. Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, because like she's one of her best friends, so she's going to try to rush, and she's well. Maybe we can do it later.
Well, I mean, you can immediately do this. It's just, yeah, the point of you can't. Yeah, you may further embrace your summer court fae and take any of these powers. Yeah, yeah, you. This would be. Where is it? This point.
Yeah, I basically exchange a fate point and a refresh for.
Yeah, for taking inhuman speed. Which, yeah, you're well, yeah, you're more than welcome to do.
So that gives me
Feel
a
free to
+1
take that.
to. I guess
Yeah.
me a +4 for the initiative. Well, that's
Yeah, if you're taking the improved, yeah, inhuman speed, improved initiative comes along with that. So your
that's massive.
initiative would be at a +7. Okay, 8. Okay, we've got 2 8s, but Martin's initiative, I believe, is higher. Martin, your alertness is at, yeah. Martin's alertness is at 4.
Yeah, he
Danny's alertness is at a 3. So right, Danny still goes first, and I will roll for the Thrall.
Everyone's so alert.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
all
Right?
that coffee we drink.
I mean, with me, apart from coffee, it comes from the war.
Well, Christ, that Thrall, I tell you. Zero, and you guys, you know what? I'm going to do a secret GM roll for the other one, because it's you guys don't know it. You don't know who that thing is.
Does the person who stayed up look like Diane?
No, it is quite clearly a man.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Yes, there we go. Right. So yeah, Martin, you're first. You see a well, yeah. What you know is a Thrall, a Thrall sort of thug in front of you.
Yeah, I have exact same reaction Dresden had the first time he realized he's fighting with a fucking troll in melee. Oh shit. So I'm guessing like it's pretty clear to me that he's not gonna listen to like words and I can just put a few bullets in him.
Well, if that's where you want to take that, I mean, he didn't seem to have any sort of response when you tried to talk to him beforehand, so.
Okay, so I will do something like this. I don't know if you can like prepare an action, trigger action in Fate, but I will say last warning, big guy, hands up, knees down. And if he does not respond, if he turns to me, or if he tries to run, or he tries to run at me, I just have weapon prepared at him and I'm just gonna unload full like drum magazine if he like sees hostile and not cooperative.
Okay, yes, there is in fact something for that. So I just quickly find it. Yeah, like I say again, sorry guys, first time GMing the game, so a few of the very specific rules I don't have.
No, it's cool.
Yeah.
So did that sound like you weren't trying to intimidate?
No, it might be maneuver though.
No, sorry.
potentially a maneuver.
I mean, I know he's a troll, but I also have like police procedures put into
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
We were taught that, you know, guys, police brutality is bad for PR. So ask the criminal to surrender before you shot him, not after.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Like that could be an intimidation attack against social things,
Yeah.
unless
Well,
he's completely invulnerable, which could make sense with a throw, or it could be a maneuver.
I was going to defend. Yeah, it depends how you want to play this, I guess. You could do it as a maneuver, which and I'd give you something like taking aim at the target. You'd have to roll an attack against something you'd roll an attack against a number that I set, and then if you succeed, you would place an aspect on the Thrall, sort of representing an situational advantage against it, and then all subsequent rolls against him, you could invoke the aspect. I believe, although you get one free invoke of the aspect.
Yeah.
Yes,
and then every one of that after that would cost one. Or you could try a social attack on him to intimidate him into stopping.
Usually the difficulty is either 3 if the maneuver is unopposed. So if he's doing the maneuver on himself or part of the scenery or something like that, or confronted by whatever skill feels appropriate by the enemy. Just like that's the usual way, but you can of course do it differently if it feels appropriate.
Yeah,
like that's the GM's call.
Okay. I found something, page 209. Here, I'll just paste it.
What's that? Yeah.
It's not very useful.
No, it could be like it sounded like Martin was getting the preliminaries out of the way, so he could make a maneuver with either guns or something that sounds like detective appropriate, and be like preliminaries out of the way. That could be the maneuver, or ready for trouble. That could be another maneuver too.
Yeah.
And
So
he could roll, for example, guns. Like this is just ideas. I've played so feel free to basically discard any of them. But he could roll guns against a difficulty of 3, and if he gets it, he get the aspect ready for trouble, for example, on himself.
Yeah, I was probably getting with something like that, because I know that, or I suspect that, dealings with the supernatural, like by the mundane police, is not really a good fancy stuff, so he kinda maybe even wishes that the troll will try not to surrender, so he just takes aim and is prepared for trouble. So I will roll for guns. Oh my fucking god. Can I use aspect like trouble? My trouble aspect that I am too old for. That I just, when I start taking aim, I just feel maybe slightly shaky, because it's like I meet in melee potential dangerous combatant, and I just think to myself, take a hold of yourself, man. There's a murder scene, and your whining won't freaking help you.
Is that you're saying that to
I was thinking that I was
to get a plus 2 to that roll?
Yeah,
or are you
to
wanting it
spend a